On a spiritual level, I believe that God will put you through situations over and over and over again until, you keep your heart open. Like he's going to break your heart until you keep that heart of yours open. Hi, I'm Taylor-Alexis, and this is a safe place to talk dangerously about life lessons in your 30s, wellness, and film. So if you're new, welcome, and if not, thanks for coming on back. Okay, so to follow up last week's video, I thought it would be appropriate to kind of touch on heartbreak, right? Something that we've probably all experienced. It doesn't feel good, but sometimes it could be a catalyst to change. So let's talk. Yet another topic that I am familiar with. I am no stranger to heartbreak, unfortunately, but I think it's made me who I am, and it's made me stronger. So let's dive into it. Why is it so painful? Why does heartbreak hurt so much? It's because it's loss, right? What do they say? Grief is like love with nowhere to go. It's like that. Sometimes you meet people and you're so connected to them, you're having a good time getting to know each other, spending time with each other, creating memories, and then all of a sudden when things go left or there's a breakup or some kind of betrayal, you're no longer getting that dopamine hit. So your body's kind of trying to figure out what's going on. Even your brain is just like, are we safe? What's happening? And that can lead to like physical pain. That could lead to like loss of appetite and sleepless nights and anxiety and stress, and it's really interesting because anxiety can show up in so many different ways, and you can be someone that's like, what do they call it, like high functioning and depressant. You could be the person that's like always smiling, always happy, and then you'll have moments where you're just like, it feels debilitating. It feels like, whoa, like I have to rewire my brain, rewire my routine and things like that. Unfortunately, with heartbreak, it can cause so much stress that like it takes a toll on your body. And there's a really good book, what's the name of it? I think it's like The Body Remembers. Actually, I will link it in the description, but it's just like talking about how the body remembers trauma. Heartbreak doesn't always have to be just with lovers. Friendship breakups are hard as hell too. And the thing about heartbreak, or the thing about like ending a relationship, whether it's friendships or a lover or even extreme like family, the thing is that it might be the right decision, but it's so hard. It's like something that you really have to sit and process and grieve, right? I know there's all this talk online about no contact and things like that, and yes, I think once there's a breakup, once there's an end to a friendship or whatever, perhaps you should give it space so that everybody can kind of regroup, reflect, and see what's going on. But at its core, it's this deep, deep, deep sense of loss. And I'm just here to tell you that it doesn't always have to be so dark. I'm no stranger to heartbreak, but I want to give you some tips on how we can, overcome the heartbreak, because we're going to have some suffering in life. It's inevitable, but doesn't mean you have to stay there forever. Allow yourself time to grieve. I know people say like, oh, I'm just going to give it 24 hours, or I'm going to give it, a month or just a week, and I'm going to feel better. No, because baby, heartbreak comes in waves. Okay. Just when you think you're doing all right, something will remind you of the person, and then boom, it's tears, fears, and nightmares. But, allow yourself to feel the feels. And sometimes it's nice or really helpful to name those feelings. It's like, okay, what am I feeling right now? Like, I am sad because, I was watching TV and I saw a commercial that reminded me of my person or past person, whatever, ex, whomever. It's okay to sit with that. Now, in those moments, maybe you can just say, like, I don't know, do that. What is it? That rocket method of like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like you're just gonna feel it for a little bit and then do something else. Change your mind. Go for a walk. Go journal. Go exercise. Do something that your future self will thank you for. Of course, when you can, seek support. Whether that's talking to a family member, talking to a friend, talking to even a professional. If you can, there's a lot of resources out there too that you can also tap into. I think I've mentioned them before. It's okay to rely on someone else for emotional support during these times. It's not easy. I'm telling you, you get like, love is a drug. Love is just one big old chemical, you know, that like you get your dopamine, you get your oxytocin, you get your endorphins, all these different things like happen when you have your person and you get into this routine that when it's gone, of course you're going to go through withdrawals. It's almost like, you know, recovering in some sense. And y'all know I'm never taking away from the struggles of others, but it's similar, you know, it could be that detrimental. Think about those couples, those older couples that been together for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and one person passes away, and then like 2 months later or 2 weeks later, something like that, the other person passes too, because they died from a broken heart. It's really sad, you know, when you think about it. It's just like, oh. With heartbreak, you know, your world stops, right? I know people joke around like, oh, you want to lose 20 pounds? Get your heart broken. And while that might be true, that is not the best. That's not healthy. It's rather toxic. But, you know, I understand it. Like, you know, you don't really feel like doing things that you want to do anymore. Loss of appetite. You might not be in the mood. Like, try to eat something. I know it's easier said than done. I know when I'm going through heartbreak, I'm like, food. What? Like, girl, I barely get out of this bed. But, you know, try putting something in your body, even if you're making just some tea, just to, you know, I don't want to get all Caribbean on you, but us West Indians, we just like tea for everything. Tea will fix your finances. Tea will fix, you know, your mood, it'll fix your digestive issues, all of that. So tea is the answer, right? No, but on a serious note too, I think it's really important to remove that idealization of the person, right? Take them off the pedestal. You know, it's not to say that they're a bad person or anything like that. I think most of the times we don't really get into relationships with terrible people. I just think that things happen, and, you know, sometimes people aren't ready. Like, I know for me, I cannot date anyone else that's in survival mode. I just can't. I know as a lover girl, I know that I have so much to give to someone because I've given too much to myself, that I cannot be on the receiving end of someone that's not ready to receive that, if that makes sense. I can't. I've tried. And it's like, you know, you do something that's really nice, and then it's met with like, you're like, wait, how is this a point of contention in an argument? Huh? ¿Qué? So yeah, that's the boundary for me. But we'll get to the lessons. We'll get to the lessons of about heartbreak and stuff. But no, take them off the pedestal. He, she, them, take them off. Don't check on their social medias. Leave it alone. Don't reach out anymore. You said your piece, you know. Granted, like, I mean, we talked about acceptance in another video, and that's one of the stages of heartbreak and dealing with grief. It was like the moment where you just accept that this is the end and this is it. Now, it doesn't mean it's the end forever. We don't know. But for as of right now, this is the end. And you have to really swallow that, honestly and truly. If you get the urge to check their social media or to check up on them or to reach out or something like that, here are a couple of tips. Think about, like, just imagine that they get a text message from you and they're out with their friends or whatever, and they just look at their phone like with disgust, right? And they may or may not mention it to the person that they're out with, but just think about it. Do you want to be that person? No. And then every time you feel like reaching out or you want to check social medias and see what they're up to and just see who they're following, do something for yourself. Do something for yourself. Drop down, do some push-ups, you know what I mean? Go cook yourself a nice meal, go for a walk, something. You know, I'm not pushing emotional spending, although retail therapy can help. I'm not pushing that. And we'll talk about overconsumption in another video next week. And, but no, like, just stop yourself from doing that. And I think a really good way, this is something that I've always done with breakups, try something new. Go out there and, you know, try something. And it's like, it's so funny. I see a lot of these videos where women are just out there trying all these new hobbies because they're just like, it, I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'm done with this breakup. I'm done with love, blah, blah, blah. I remember one time I went through a breakup and I was like, you know what I want to do today? An aerial silks class. And it was great. It was wonderful. And I just think maybe, you know, planning something to do, whether it's monthly, weekly, or every 2 weeks, post breakup, you'll have something to look forward to. And that's a great feeling, I think. And all in all, create space for healing. the easiest thing to do is to shut down and say, I'm never going to do this again and do that again, blah, 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 blah. While I know I said I'm not dealing with anybody that's in survival mode. That's a boundary, right? But I'm talking about shutting yourself down from love, right? Not being open to it. Because on a spiritual level, I believe that God will put you through situations over and over and over again until, you keep your heart open. Like he's going to break your heart until you keep that heart of yours open. And it doesn't mean to let in abuse. It doesn't mean to, be taken advantage of. But that heartbreak is so that your heart remains open. So you can create that safe space for healing. All right. So let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness. What is forgiveness? How do I do it? Blah, blah, blah. There's so much about it. And I think at its core, you have to remember that forgiveness is for you. You have to not only forgive the person that may have hurt you, but you have to forgive yourself too, because chances are there's something that you did in the relationship or the friendship that, hurt the other person. And, we're not perfect. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm a villain in somebody's story. Don't you come up in here writing that in the comments. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. Sidebar, live your truth so that no one can use it against you. Biggest lesson. The biggest lesson of your 30s. But, I'm sure I was a villain in someone else's story, and I'm okay with that. I'm not perfect. I never said I was. I don't come on here acting like I am, okay? I got my own too. Forgive yourself. It's okay. We all make mistakes. We all do things. It's going to be all right. And don't rush it either. Like, you don't have to rush forgiving somebody. You might take time and just really try to process it and things like that, but you don't have to rush forgiveness. And when you do that, you release a lot from your heart. With heartbreak, there's always a lesson. And you know what sucks? As a lover girl, you know what sucks? The moment you realize that the person is a lesson. And I think discernment is like a skill, right? It's key to these things. But the moment you realize that someone might be a lesson in your life, I think that's the time for you to start going separate ways. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to learn lessons in other relationships. But when you see that, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't continue with this, take heed. Because there's a Japanese saying, the longer you spend, and I'm paraphrasing, but the longer that you spend on the wrong train, the more expensive it is for you to get home. Okay? And we're not talking about trains. Okay? So, if you see something, say something. On a serious note, heartbreaks, they suck, but they teach you so much about yourself. And you'd be surprised how much resilience you have after overcoming one, or two, or three, or five. And you can look back at some moments in your life and you're like, wow, that was a really sucky time. But I'm glad that I went through it, because now I know who I am. Now I know what I want. Now I know what I don't want. Now I know what to look for. And it doesn't mean that you need to be like hyper vigilant, but take things with a grain of salt, or see if their words match their actions. Ugh, sorry, my stomach is growling, honey. Because sometimes people can, listen, what I've learned, that people can love you and still not do right by you. And it's sad to think about, Anyhow, let's wrap. I'm curious if you're willing to share, what is the most insane or unhinged thing that you did to kind of catapult you into overcoming your heartbreak? Like, what was it? Did you get in the gym? Did you become so delusional that you're like, this is not happening to me, this is not my life, and move forward? What did you do? I'm curious. All in all, heartbreak sucks, but it helps, okay? Sometimes heartbreak will lead you to the next stage in your life. I probably should have shared this earlier, but I always think about 2019 and how that was a very trying time. Actually, no, I'm sorry, 2018, and how, 2018 to 2019 was a trying time. And had it not been for certain situations, I don't think that I would be where I am today. So I'm very grateful for the heartbreak. I'm not a masochist, I promise. But you know, you figure out what you don't want, you figure out what you do want, you get some kind of clarity and better understanding of yourself and how the world works. So, you know, I know it sucks, so I'm sending you all of the love and just giving you a big, 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 big hug from your internet sis or cousin, Tay Tay. So yeah, thank you for watching all the way. I'm so happy that I made it through it because I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go. The good thing about talking about heartbreak when you're not in it is that you can just speak objectively. But yes, thank you so much for watching. If this was your jam, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more weekly content about life in your 30s, wellness, and film. I am Taylor-Alexis, and I'm going to go make a smoothie because my stomach is growling. Alrighty, love you. Bye.